Hi, this is Rob and Mike from the McClellan Financial Group, and this is Think Smart with TMFG.
It's Mike Connon here today. I'm here with Baylor from DFA, or Dimensional Fund Advisors. He's come in today to visit our office and basically talk about, actually educate our staff on Dimensional and what they do. So how are you doing today, Baylor?
Good, Mike. Thanks for having me here.
Excellent. Just give me a background. How long have you been with DFA?
It's going on 4 years now. So I started in 2015.
Perfect. What do you do before then?
So I've been in the financial services industry since 2001, and I've had a number of roles through that time period. I've been advisor facing, if you can call it that, for most of that time period. So I've spent time at one of Canada's banks. I've been at one of the larger insurers in Canada, and then I came to Dimensional 2015.
So what made you choose Dimensional? What brought that about?
So in my previous role, I was taking some time to do some further educating. I was studying for the Chartered Financial Analyst designation, and it led me to some other research that I had read, and one was called Loser's Game by Charlie Ellis, which was originally published in the 1970s, and it was a republication that I had not yet read, but it was basically showing the inability of active managers to beat the market. So at that point in time, I started doing more research on this way of investing, and I had moved all my money out of that style of investing to a more passive style of investing. And then through my own role, my job, I came across a financial advisor that happened to be a client of Dimensional's, unknown to me at the time, and we started talking about investment philosophies and found that we agreed. And he said, you should check out this company called Dimensional, and gave me some resources as well as the email of who is now my boss, Brad Steinman. So I was able to reach out to him, and one thing led to another.
How long is the hiring process at DFA? They really seem to vet people, don't they?
Yeah, there's a number of layers to it, starting with HR, going through resumes and looking for characteristics that have worked at the firm in the past. And it really comes down to fit. So the face-to-face interview really is the most important among a number of us to interview that particular individual for the role, and to come to the conclusion, do they have the intellectual curiosity, the ambition, and is there a fit to the firm? And so would they fit and help our clients grow their practices as well?
How long is the learning curve? I know for me, it took Dimensional. It is so advanced in how they manage money, and it's funny because I have trouble describing the layers of advancement that happen within DFA to our clients, just because it does dig really deep.
Yeah.
How long was that learning curve, and have you learned it all yet, or is it still?
No, that's one of the fun things about being at Dimensional. We continue to do research. I'm not on the research team, but the research team educates us. So we're continuously learning on how markets work and the advancements that they come up with. But the learning curve for me, yeah, it was steep and it was long. Mm-hmm. So even though I have done a master's in business before, as well as the CFA, there was still a lot more to learn about what Dimensional did specifically. Plus, you think about the brain power that's behind the firms, the Nobel laureates that have influenced the firm through time. There's a lot to learn. So thankfully, at Dimensional, we give people a long runway to learn that stuff. When I first came on board, the person who hired me said, you're going to feel like you're going back to school for the next 6 months to a year. And yeah, I remember the first 4 months, it was a lot of reading, a lot of videos, taking in information, and maybe after a year I started to feel more comfortable with it. Yeah. But hopefully now, after 4 years, I'm much more comfortable than that. But the learning continues.
It seems nice that you seem to buy into the philosophy before you actually join the company, though. That's a big step.
Yeah, I was moving in that direction. That's for sure.
In the industry, it's funny when you're with banks and insurance companies. There's a lot of brainwashing that goes on the company's benefits to make sure that people can't see past the idea of the active management being the way to go. And it takes a while to get over everything you've been taught in the first, because it wasn't taught on academic research. It always appears to be taught more toward profitability of their own company.
Yeah, I think that's true for the most part. And Dimensional's way of doing business is much different. We're a research firm, data-driven firm, and we want to go where the data shows us to go. And it's the same internally as it is externally. So the way we talk about things is the same internally and externally. And often we'll have internal conferences, and it is said by a few people that we would not be ashamed to have end clients come in and observe and hear what's being talked about, because we don't talk about anything different externally to our clients.
Yeah. People always ask, we get that question, why do we use DFA? And I almost don't even view it as a fund company or a management company. It's a way of thinking, and it's a thought process. And we've really come to appreciate the thought process that has always led us toward the right direction. Mm-hmm. And having this, all these Nobel laureates working on your behalf, and they're not out there to go make profits for their own company. They're out to find the truth in how investments actually work. And it gives you this constant compass in the right direction to get to where you want to get your clients. And I find that's been the biggest advantage about using Dimensional over the years.
Yeah, that's a great point. And when the co-founders, David Booth and Rex Singfield, started the firm, they asked these academics to be consultants to the firm and part of the board. And they wanted them to be academics first. So continue to do the research. And if they have research that the firm could use, then we would use it, and not the other way around. So it really is the academics, they're doing their work to find ultimately the truth about how markets work, and if we can use that Dimensional, then that's what we do.
On that line, yeah, Dimensional has some incredible people. Years ago, I remember sitting the week after Eugene Fama won the Nobel Prize. I'm sitting in a room with 30 other people with him, able to ask him questions, which just is a unique experience in life. And through the experience in the last while with Dimensional, have you met interesting people?
I have, and you mentioned Eugene Fama, and I haven't met him personally, but I've been in the same room with him and heard him present, and it's quite a privilege to hear somebody like that who doesn't give a lot of public lectures, giving seminars and lectures to a group of financial advisors as well as Dimensional staff. Another man that stands out in my mind is Dave Butler, who is currently co-CEO of the company. He's been around for some time, and I've met him personally. I've spent time with him, and he's a genuine individual. And there's one quote he has given in the past and continues to give that really sums up his drive at the firm, which is the client experience has always been the reason we do what we do and will continue to be why we do what we do. And that's really played out through the years. And it's great to have somebody like that as a co-CEO in the firm.
He's been, I've seen him a few times. He was a basketball player, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
He was a pro. I think he played in the NBA I think he's at a game or two.
Yeah, I believe he was drafted by the Celtics, and then there was a strike in the NBA, and then the course of history went a different way.
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times. Yeah, an incredible person. So it's great when you get to actually meet these people. And Dimensional is interesting because it's a company that's it's privately owned, isn't it?
It's owned by employees. Yes.
Owned by employees. Yeah. So very different than something that's your publicly traded companies that are controlled by shareholders. So Dimensional is, I mean, everyone wants to make a profit, but it always has appeared to me a company that's more seeking to do the right thing than put money back in shareholders' hands, which is something we really appreciate. And we love dealing with someone who's always focused in the right direction. So.
Well, ultimately, we want to help people have a better investment experience. And we strive to do that through the research that we do and then the portfolios we structure and the implementation of those portfolios in conjunction with the advisors that we work with. And we are for profit. So if we can't make a profit, then we can't help deliver that. So that is part of our business. But yeah, I think you're right. Having a vision on the long-term really is important because investing is a long-term game as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Baylor. Thank you for coming to the office, and thank you for doing this podcast.
Thanks very much, Mike. Pleasure being here.
Have a great day. Cheers.
You too.
You have been listening to the McClellan Financial Group of Asante Capital Management Limited. Asante Capital Management Limited is a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund and Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada. Insurance products and services are provided through Asante Estate and Insurance Services Incorporated. This material is provided for general information and is subject to change without notice. Every effort has been made to compile this material from reliable sources, however, no warranty can be made as to its accuracy or completeness. Before acting on any of the above, please make sure to see a professional advisor for individual financial advice based on your personal circumstances.